Adam Sandler walked onto the set of Jimmy Kimmel Live expecting another night of friendly banter and comedy. The crowd cheered, standing in ovation as he waved and settled into the guest chair. At first, everything felt normal. Laughs, jokes, light digs. Jimmy opened with a quip about Adam's latest movie, teasing him for playing similar roles. Adam chuckled, brushing it off with a joke of his own. But when Kimmel pressed, asking if Adam ever worried about repeating himself into irrelevance, the tone changed. Adam raised an eyebrow. "That's how we starting it?" he asked. Jimmy laughed, thinking Adam was in on the joke, but the air shifted. Sandler said calmly, "You think making people laugh for 30 years is irrelevant?" The audience chuckled nervously. Kimmel tried to recover, but Sandler wasn't smiling anymore. Kimmel doubled down, saying he meant it playfully, that everyone respected Sandler's legacy, but the damage was done. Sandler sat back, arms folded. "You ever had a bad day, Jimmy?" he asked. "Ever just not feel like being mocked?" Kimmel replied, "It's comedy, man." Sandler nodded slowly. "Right, comedy. Except sometimes it feels like punches, not jokes." The crowd grew silent. Kimmel joked, "Should I call Rob Schneider for backup?" trying to steer the mood back to laughter. Sandler didn't laugh. "I don't need backup. I need respect." It wasn't yelled. It wasn't dramatic. It was quiet, firm, and real. The audience began shifting uncomfortably. For the first time in years, Adam Sandler wasn't the happy-go-lucky clown. He was a man tired of the same punchlines, the same lazy setups, and the same forced laughs he'd endured for decades. Jimmy tried to pivot to a lighter segment, bringing up a childhood photo of Adam for a skit. But Adam said, "We really doing this? Embarrassing photos? You don't have something better?" Jimmy blinked, confused, unsure whether Sandler was still playing along. "It's part of the show," he said. Sandler replied, "Nah, it's part of your formula. Mock, deflect, cut to commercial." The audience was stunned. Kimmel chuckled uncomfortably, asking, "What's gotten into you tonight?" Adam leaned forward, serious now. "Nothing got into me. I just finally stopped pretending." The room fell quiet again. A few claps sounded from the back, unsure and slow. Sandler looked around and said, "People laugh at my movies not because they're dumb, but because they connect. Maybe you forgot how to do that, Jimmy." The words hit hard. Kimmel's smile faded slightly. Kimmel pushed back. "You think you're the only one who's been criticized?" "I get roasted every day, man," Sandler replied. "Difference is I show up, give everything I got, and still get clowned like I'm some punchline that won't go away." Kimmel muttered, "Then why come here?" Sandler said, "Because I thought we were friends." That line stung. A ripple of silence spread across the studio. The cameras kept rolling, but the mood was off. Kimmel tried to lighten it with a joke about Adam's infamous movie Jack and Jill, but that backfired. "You still bringing that up?" Sandler asked. "That was 12 years ago." Jimmy shrugged. "People remember." Adam answered, "Yeah, they remember, but do you ever let people grow?" The crowd didn't know how to react anymore. This wasn't a skit. It was confrontation, raw and unscripted. Someone offstage signaled to wrap the segment, but neither host nor guest seemed ready to let it go. Kimmel said, "You got thin skin for someone who's made millions." Adam replied, "You think money makes you invincible to disrespect?" Kimmel fell silent. Adam continued, "I got kids. They watch these shows. They hear the way I'm talked about. They ask why Uncle Jimmy is always mocking me." It hit a nerve. Kimmel looked down briefly, shifting in his seat. The crowd had stopped reacting altogether. Sandler stood up. The cameras weren't ready, the staff wasn't ready, but Adam was. "You invite me here like a friend, but treat me like a gag." He walked toward the edge of the stage. Jimmy said weakly, "You're overreacting." Sandler turned, voice steady. "Maybe you're undercaring," and with that, he stepped off the set. Backstage, the crew was stunned. Adam didn't stop to speak. He grabbed his jacket, nodded to the nearest assistant, and walked straight out of the building. Within minutes, clips were circulating online. Hashtags like Sandler walk-off and Kimmel clash trended across platforms. Fans were divided. Some called Adam too sensitive. Others praised him for standing up. Think pieces followed. Articles titled, "When Comedy Becomes Cruel," and "The Late Night Trap" began appearing. Meanwhile, Jimmy stayed silent for the rest of the show. He joked briefly in the next segment, but even the band's music felt off. The audience wasn't laughing the same. That night, a different kind of clip went viral. An old interview of Adam on another show, talking about loyalty, humility, and staying grounded. It reminded people that Sandler, beyond the goofball roles, was someone deeply aware of how he was perceived. Days later, Kimmel finally addressed the incident in his monologue. He tried humor, but his tone wavered. "We had a moment with Adam," he said, "and yeah, maybe I pushed too far." He called Sandler one of the greats and said he hoped they could laugh again someday. But it didn't erase the moment. Sandler didn't respond publicly. Instead, he posted a single picture on social media, a quiet sunset, no caption. But in the comments, fellow actors rallied around him. Jennifer Aniston wrote, "Proud of you always." Rob Schneider commented, "Stand tall, Sandman." The post became a quiet symbol of strength. Fans flooded it with hearts, not just for his movies, but for his dignity. Sandler never mentioned the show again. He continued promoting his work, attending festivals and doing interviews, but not on Kimmel's set. Industry insiders began whispering that this wasn't an isolated case. Other stars reportedly felt set up during segments. Some claimed late night had turned from camaraderie into content farming. Executives began reevaluating their formats. Audiences weren't just watching anymore, they were scrutinizing. The laughter track wasn't enough. Authenticity mattered now. Sandler, without trying, had sparked a discussion much larger than himself. He wasn't canceled. He wasn't angry. He was just done being anyone's easy target. New fans discovered his more serious roles, appreciating the depth he'd always carried beneath the humor. Meanwhile, Kimmel's team adjusted future episodes. The tone softened. Segments became more thoughtful, less mocking. Change was happening. Slowly, but it was real. Adam hadn't planned it, but he had caused it. Months passed, but the walk-off lived in internet archives, forever clipped and looped. Film retrospectives began to include the moment as a turning point in Sandler's career, not because he changed, because he revealed something that had always been there. Comedians began defending themselves with firmer voices, no longer afraid, to call out the line between teasing and disrespect. Some hosts evolved, others faded. Adam Sandler kept working, kept building. His next film earned critical acclaim. He won a major award, and during his speech he said only this: "Never let them laugh at what you love. Make them feel it." Applause erupted. That single sentence, though vague, felt aimed at something bigger. Everyone knew what he meant. He didn't need to say more. The message had already been delivered. Today, the name Adam Sandler means more than it used to. Not just laughs, not just silly voices or oddball characters. It means endurance. It means standing tall even when the spotlight tilts unkindly. The night he walked off wasn't just another talk show blip. It was the day a man reclaimed his story. Jimmy Kimmel still hosts, still jokes, but with a noticeable softness now. Maybe it was guilt. Maybe it was growth. Either way, Adam's impact lingered. In future interviews, when guests began to get mocked too hard, fans would comment, "Don't pull a Kimmel on them." That phrase stuck. And somewhere Adam Sandler smiled, not because he held a grudge, but because he proved that even in comedy, there's a time to be serious. And sometimes, walking away is the loudest laugh of all.